Go.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Moreno.
And my name is Ashley Singh.
We did our presentation on the testes, and this is why they are the most important gland to the male human body. To start off with a little bit of background information, the testes are the gonads of the male human body. They are also the most important part of the male reproductive system and the male human body. The testes are responsible for the production and storage of sperm until the sperm is mature enough for ejaculation. The testes are also responsible for the maintenance of the general health of the male reproductive system. The two oval-shaped organs hang in a sac of skin called the scrotum just in front of the pelvic region. The testes are also responsible for the production of a very important hormone called testosterone. This hormone is very important because it is responsible for the sex drive, fertility, and the development of muscle and bone mass. The female counterpart to the male testes are the ovaries. The location of the testes leaves them vulnerable to injury, but this exposure provides a cooler temperature for the two organs. A cooler environment is necessary for sperm production. For the functions of the testes. Two important main functions of the testes is the production of male gametes, or sperm, and the production of male hormones called androgens. The most common found androgen is testosterone. Androgens control how the male reproductive system grows and the development of masculine body features such as beards and deep voices. They also influence sexual functions. Testosterone is responsible for the growth of male genitals. Testes in a healthy male can produce about 6 milligrams of testosterone each day. The testes also produce about 200,000 sperm per minute on average. This number tends to decline as a male hits his 30s and gets older. Sperm cells are produced in coiled masses of tubes called seminiferous tubules, which go through a process called spermatogenesis. Testosterone can regulate sex drive and the production of red blood cells. Without testosterone, man become infertile because testosterone assists the development of mature sperm. Spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the process of haploid spermatozoa developing from germ cells in the seminiferous tubules of the testes. It begins with the mitotic division of the stem cells located close to the basement membrane of the tubules. Those cells are called spermatogonial stem cells. The mitotic division produces type A cells that replenish the stem cells, and type B, which differentiate into primary spermatocytes. The primary spermatocyte then goes through meiosis I to produce 2 secondary spermatocytes. Meiosis II then splits each secondary spermatocyte into 2 equal haploid spermatids. The spermatids transform into spermatozoa, also known as sperm, by the process called spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis is the final stage of spermatogenesis. It is the process of spermatids maturing into spermatozoa, also known as sperm. There are 4 stages of spermiogenesis, each called the Golgi phase, the cap phase, the formation of the tail, and the maturation phase. The Golgi phase. In the Golgi phase, the spermatids, which up until now are usually radially symmetrical, they begin to develop polarity. The head forms at one end, while the Golgi apparatus creates enzymes that will eventually become the acrosome. At the other end, it develops a thickened midpiece where the mitochondria gather, and the distal centriole begins to form an axoneme. Spermatid DNA also undergoes packaging, becoming highly condensed. The DNA is first packaged with specific nuclear basic proteins, which are subsequently replaced with protamines during spermatid elongation. The resultant tightly packed chromatin is transcriptionally inactive. The cap phase. During the cap phase, the Golgi apparatus surrounds the condensed nucleus, which becomes the acrosomal cap. The formation of the tail. One of the centrioles of the cell elongates to become the tail. A temporary structure called the manchette assists in the elongation. During this phase, the developing spermatozoa orient themselves so that their tails point towards the center of the lumen and away from the epithelium. The maturation phase. The excess cytoplasm, known as residual body of Regard, is phagocytosed by surrounding Sertoli cells in the testes.
Anatomy of the testes. Testes get their ovular shape from the tissues known as lobules. Lobules are made up of coiled tubes surrounded by dense connective tissues. The seminiferous tubes are coiled tubes that make up most of each testis. The cells and tissues in the tubules are responsible for spermatogenesis, which is known as the process of creating sperm. These tubules are lined with a layer of tissue called the epithelium. This layer is made up of Sertoli cells that aid in the production of hormones that generate sperm. The tissues next to the tubules are called Leydig cells. These cells are essential to the production of male hormones such as testosterone and other androgens. After sperm is created in the seminiferous tubules, the sperm cells then travel toward the epididymis through the rete testes. The rete testes helps in mixing sperm cells around in the fluid secreted by Sertoli cells. The body then reabsorbs the fluid as sperm cells travel from the seminiferous tubules to the epididymis. Microvilli help move sperm along to the efferent tubules. The efferent ducts are a series of tubes that join the rete testes to the epididymis. The epididymis stores sperm cells until they are mature and ready for ejaculation. The ducts are lined with cilia and a smooth layer of muscle. Cilia helps the sperm move to the epididymis. The efferent ducts absorb the fluid that helps to move sperm, resulting in a higher concentration of sperm and ejaculate fluid. The testes are surrounded by several layers of tissue, known as the tunica vasculosa, tunica abluginae, and tunica vaginalis. The tunica vasculosa is the first thin layer of blood vessels. This layer protects the tubular interior of each testicle from further layers of tissues around the outer testicle. The tunica ablania is a thick protective layer made of densely packed fibers that further protect the testes. The tunica vaginalis is the outermost layer and consists of three layers: the visceral layer, cavum vaginal, and parietal layer. The visceral layer surrounds the tunica ablania that protects the seminiferous tubules. The cavum vaginal is an empty space between the visceral layer and the tunica vaginalis. The parietal layer is the outermost protective layer that surrounds almost the entire testicular structure. Diseases, conditions, and cures. Hydrocele. This occurs when excess fluid builds up in the cavities around one testicle. This can happen at birth or result from injury or inflammation. This does not require treatment unless if they are large or painful. Surgery is needed if so. Most times they go away over time. Symptoms are testicular swelling, dull aches in the scrotum, and heaviness in the scrotum. Testicular torsion. This is when a testicle has rotated in the scrotum. It can cause the spermatic cord to tingle and cut off blood supply, nerve function, and transportation of sperm to the scrotum. Symptoms are severe scrotum pain, swelling in the testicle, lower abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, testicle discomfort, and constant urination. Orchitis. This is when the testicle is swollen or inflamed. This results from an infection caused by an STI. Bacterial and viral infections can cause orchitis. Symptoms are testicular pain and tenderness, swollen testicle, fever, nausea, and vomiting. Hypergonadism. This occurs when the body does not make enough testosterone. This results from a testicular issue or when the brain doesn't stimulate hormone production correctly. This is treated with hormone replacement therapy. Symptoms in infants are genitals may not be clear. Both genitals for male and female may be present. In teens, lack of muscle development, low body hair growth, and no voice deepening. And in adults, lack of fertility, loss of body hair, breast tissue growth, loss of bone density, and inability to get an erection. Testicular cancer. This occurs when cancerous cells multiply within the tissue of the testicles. This starts in the tubular testicle structures that help with sperm production. This can be surgically removed. If more severe, the whole testicle can be removed. Radiation and chemotherapy can help to destroy cancer cells. Symptoms are lump in testicle, heaviness in scrotum, fluids in scrotum, testicular pain, abdominal and back pain, swollen and tender breast tissue.
The testes are the most important gland in the human male body because without the testes, there is no reproduction. Without the testes, there's no testosterone, which is no development of the male human body, and as well as the female body. This is why the testes are the most important gland.
Thank you, everyone.